My name's Navva Milliken. I'm the Artistic Director for the Center for Art in Wood. And today I'm going to talk to you about cocktail muddlers. So I'm going to help you kick off your weekend with a little bit of history and a whole lot of drink. So let's get started. Cocktail muddlers tend to look like this. And you may have one in your own bar at home, or you may have seen them in professional bars and restaurants. And basically, it looks like a big dowel stick. But in fact, there's a whole history behind this object. It's believed that cocktail muddlers evolved from toddy sticks. We know them from the late 18th century, at a time that predated fabricated ice, when mixed drinks tended to be made with hot water. You didn't have ice to cool down the drink, so if you're going to get a whiskey and you want it to be diluted a little bit, you would have herbs added to it and hot water. So you needed sticks to break up sugar and then stir them into the drink, and these were called toddy sticks. It's also believed by some that toddy sticks crushed herbs like cloves, and then these were added to the drink as well. So eventually, when ice arrived, prefabricated ice arrived in the mid-19th century as the hospitality industry expanded with the growth of the industrial age. Drinks began to incorporate fruits and syrups in addition to these spices and herbs. The muddling stick then evolved in order to accommodate and to process these fruits and herbs, and in order to make syrups that would then complement a colder drink. So what we have here is a tapered kind of form where the narrower end, sometimes would be toothed, would be used to grind your spices and cinnamon, and then the other side would be used for citrus and herbal leaves and your broader oil-based, more fragrant materials. So this muddling stick really evolved over 200 years, and they continue to be a requisite tool in any bar. It's used in making mojitos, caipirinhas, your sours of all kinds, your juleps, and anything fruit-based. So I talked about the history of the cocktail muddler. What does it do now? So we know that it kind of pulverizes material and draws out juices that can then lend themselves to a mixed drink. It's a little bit like a mortar and a pestle, where you're just grinding the material straight into the glass, so you don't need the added vessel. The shape, identifiable as usually, but not always, tapered. One end is narrower. And it's a wood-turned form, always. And why wood? Why would we use this? Why would we use wood in making these particular kitchen implements? It's believed that in addition to being easily formed, wood is a lightweight material that feels good in the hand. It's easily shaped to specifications, and it's easily customizable. As well as lightweight. It also is really washable, and with this kind of tool you need to be able to wash it quickly and then have it dry quickly so that you can use it over and over again. Finally, wood has antibacterial properties that metals and glasses don't have. So even though you have cocktail muddling sticks in a variety of materials, wood is really the go-to material for this kind of object. So what I'm holding here is a really basic, straightforward tool. I got it at a restaurant supply store. It's a little big for me, but it's what I use at home. But now I'm going to show you a special cocktail muddling stick. And this is hand-turned and hand-painted by Graham Priddle, an artist who lives in Asheville, North Carolina. And Graham's wood-turned cocktail muddlers are really distinctive. But recently I found out that they're not only beautiful to look at, they're also really functional. And what do I mean by that? When I grasp it with my hand really wraps around it and fits right in between these little grooves here made by segmented balls, and I can just hang on there, and it's got a really great hand feel. So even though it's a one-of-a-kind object, and I prefer to kind of look at it more than use it, I will use it when the people come over. So now we're going to talk about how to make a drink using the proper technique of cocktail muddling sticks. Okay, so we just learned about cocktail muddler. Now we're going to learn how to use it. We're going to really put this into practice with a drink that I titled, Darling, You Are Getting Better Looking Every Day. And this title is inspired by the title of a work in the Center for Art and Wood's permanent collection. It's a work by Jean-François Escoulen, and you can find more information about it where you see the recipe alongside this video. You'll also notice that this is going to be an alcohol-based recipe, but you have a non-alcoholic alternative posted alongside it in case you want to avoid the alcoholic side of it. So either way, it's a refreshing drink that wouldn't have been possible without the technique of muddling. So here we go. Okay. So you're going to take a mixing glass. It's called a glass, but it's really, mine is stainless steel. This is what I use to mix all my cocktails. And into this glass, you're going to put a few, 3, 4 leaves of basil. If they're larger leaves, you probably want to, I suggest ripping them up a little bit in order to facilitate the process and start to get the oils opened up. And then you're also going to throw in 3 fresh raspberries. Once you've done that, you're going to take your muddling stick, and usually people's impulse is just to go in it like this. That's wrong. That is not the right muddling technique. What you want to do is grasp it not like this, but the other way, like this. This forces the action to come from the wrist, not in this up and down motion. What happens if you do this is you're going to overdo it, you're going to pulverize in your materials, and they're going to taste bitter. It's a really gentle, firm movement. So you're going to go in like this and just twist with the wrist. Just a few times, firmly, don't overdo it, firmly and gently. And you're going to do it just to put some pressure on the materials and crush them a little bit. Don't be afraid to do that. But what you want is just to do it a few times until you really smell the fragrance of the basil coming up at you. Once you start to smell that, you know you're done. So we have achieved that mission. We have effectively muddled our raspberry and basil. So now we're going to add our materials. Now, I always add my liqueurs before the ice because if I don't, the ice tends to dilute the whole drink and then it becomes watery. The ice is really there not only to shake things up and get them going, but also just to chill and then get out of there. So that's what we're going to do here. So in this drink, we have 1.5 ounces of your favorite London dry gin, whatever that is. And you just pour that in there. We'll do a 1/2 ounce of Chambord, which is a French liqueur distilled from black raspberries. It's what's going to give your drink the color and the depth of taste and really complement those muddled raspberries. Next, we're going to throw in a 1/2 ounce of Lié, which is a French sweet wine. Just a 1/2 ounce there. Don't overdo it. And finally, 1/2 ounce of fresh squeezed lime juice. Okay. Now we've got all our ingredients, we can put in the ice. I tend to try to kind of half fill the mixing glass with ice, half a third to a half should do it. I'm going to take the other half of the glass. This is what I use to seal it. I'm going to throw it in at an angle, make sure there's a nice seal there, and then I'm going to shake. Okay, shaking is done with the elbows. It's not a whole body thing. It's just a controlled shake. And we do this for about 8 to 10 seconds just to get the drink good and cold and mixed. And then that's it. Okay, that's done. It's all nice and fizzy. All right. So for a drink like this one that has a lot of solid material in it, I'm going to want to double strain it. Normally, I would use a much finer strainer than this, but we're at home. No one's here. We have no one to impress but ourselves. And this should be good enough for the likes of us. So I'm a lefty, so I'm going to put the cocktail strainer in my left hand and pour with that hand. In the meantime, my cocktail glass has been chilling with ice and water. You can use soda water, or if it's a martini, you can use vermouth, anything to liquid to facilitate the melting of that ice cube and the chilling of this glass. So we're going to toss that ice aside, position our strainer, and pour our drink. We've got some really, really, really nice color there. So all that remains now is to add our garnish. Now, garnish is a really personal choice. Usually, even though it kind of has a function, which is to draw out or be the kind of nose to the drink before you actually start to sip, I created this one ahead of time. And I used 3 of the elements of the drink: the leaf of the basil, a dehydrated lime slice, and a raspberry. And I used this cocktail spear that's made by my friends in Seattle, Fruit Super. I really love these. And then you just plop it in. But I think you could float a raspberry in here, or a nice little zest of lime peel, or a leaf of basil. Any of that would really complement this drink. But either way, you've done it. You've muddled your first drink properly and to perfection. And here it is. Darling, you are getting better looking every day. Thank you for joining me, and come back for more wooden bar tools and demos. Enjoy the woodshed and enjoy your weekend. L'chaim.